Hey, thanks for joining us here at Hanging Out with K-Dubs podcast. Tell us how we're doing, or maybe be in a future podcast episode. Hit us up at hangingoutwithkdubs@gmail.com. Up next, the latest episode. Thanks for listening.
I'm usually told to stop talking so loud.
Well, like I said, the closer you are to the mics, there's less echo around the room.
Yeah.
So it makes more sense that way.
So this is like a filter?
Yeah, they say that it makes the P's crisper and
Yeah,
the S's sound
okay.
better. And
Yeah.
I don't know. Do I look like a tech genius to you?
Let's just compliment on our beards.
Yeah, no
I was
shit.
like, how am I gonna say hi? Like, what's up, beard? It's great to see you, man.
Yeah, same here. It's been a while.
Yeah, it's been at least 6 years. I randomly remember coming in there, and I was having a hard time finding parts for that tractor that I had that I pulled out of the field, and I randomly remember it was like, oh, Kyle. And yep, going in there and you're like, yep, this, exploded diagram. Yeah, this is what you need, or whatever.
I think that was a square fuel pump, right?
Yeah, it had the aluminum housing and then the diaphragm in between.
Yeah, we sold a lot of those when I worked there.
That thing worked. That I don't even know how old that tractor was. That thing had to been.
Oh, they were made in the 70s and 80s.
Well, that's what I was gonna say. At least the 80s.
They were pretty old.
And it was a triple blade deck, and at the time I only had like half an acre. So
mow that baby in a hurry.
And that thing when it ran right, that thing cut so good.
Did that have an Onan in it?
No.
Must have had a Kohler then.
I don't remember. It might have been a Kohler.
Not that it matters.
Yeah.
Just curious is all.
Yeah. Now I got a Cub Cadet.
Dogging me, man. Dogging me.
Yeah, I know. Well, it's.
I'm a green and yellow guy, kind of through and through. They make a great product, and I worked for them for 13 years.
Yeah.
So, I kind of know the ins and outs, the bads, the goods.
Yeah, when I saw that you left there, I was like, holy shit.
Yeah. Things were, it was time.
That's how long I was in the military. I did
13 years?
13 years.
No shit.
I know.
Did you go there right out of high school?
Yeah. I left 2-3 months after graduating.
No kidding.
Yeah.
And that's Air Force?
Yeah.
Air Force.
Yeah, so my dad was Army. My older brother, James, he joined right out of high school in 2005, and then as he was coming up, he'd come back home on leave, and he's had a new vehicle, he'd taken care of himself, and at first I was actually really standoffish, I guess, about joining the military.
Really?
Yeah, just because I was a shithead when I was younger.
No, none of us were.
Yeah, right.
We were angels.
I got
excited
when I was driving here and I turned on Hunter Road. I thought I was going to go drive past the Hillbilly Inn.
No.
Do you remember the Hillbilly Inn?
Yes, of course I remember the Hillbilly Inn.
I don't.
God, that has been.
I don't.
Jeez.
Every time me and my wife come through. Yeah.
On Hunter?
Yeah. Yeah, we've gone through a few times because my dad has moved out of Clinton. But whenever we would come through Harvard, I've taken her around and
they're in Rockton now or something, right?
South Beloit.
South Beloit.
Yeah. They still have the house in Clinton, but they rent it out.
Gotcha.
So, yeah. He moved to Illinois about a year ago because he retired from the Harvard Police Department.
Yeah.
And
he did that for a long time.
I think he did 25, 26 years.
I'm sure he's probably happy to be out of that right now.
Well, so what made him push the button was when all the police brutality things were starting.
Mm-hmm.
And, that's its own thing. But he came up, that was at his 25-year mark. And, he's like, I can't even pull someone over. Someone blows a stoplight, I pull him over and I'm worried that, I'm going to
Could be the wrong guy.
Yeah. or I'm going to be, you know, taken to court for something or whatever. So that's what kind of made him decide
I don't blame
to
him.
retire. Yeah, I mean,
I don't blame him.
He was tired of it, you know. Like he every once in a while I'll be like, hey, like, are you going to milk days or whatever? No, he avoids like
Harvard,
yeah.
like the plague.
Yeah.
I don't blame him. You know, it's tough to be a cop in today's world.
Yeah.
You know,
You got 95% of them, 99% of them are good, and then you got, you know, those few that are bad apples.
It's no different than any job or any person. 95% of the people out there are great people.
Mm-hmm.
It's the 5% that are shitbags, you know,
Yeah, and
that
that's
screw it up for the rest of us.
Yeah, and that's what labels it across the board, and that sucks. But
that's just part of life. It's welcome to America, you know.
But I joined right out of high school. I was standoffish, or I was kind of against the idea of joining the military at first. You know, I don't need it. You know, blah blah blah. And I don't know if you know. Well, a lot of people don't know this because I just kind of disappeared out of Harvard. I actually wasn't going to graduate.
Really?
Yeah. So the summer of my junior year, I had made the decision to move to my dad's house in Clinton. So I actually graduated from Wisconsin.
Oh,
yeah.
Well, that makes more sense.
Yeah. So, because like I got to Wisconsin and the school there, I remember like it had to have been like the first day or first week. They brought me in and they looked at my credits and stuff like that or whatever the
transcripts.
Yeah.
Maybe?
And they're like, "You're not going to graduate." I'm like, "What are you talking about?" Like.
Yeah. Right?
You know, so
what the hell?
So apparently, where we went to school, guidance counselors, I didn't even know that those existed.
Yeah, me neither.
No. So I had a ton of credits, you know, that the state requires you to get to get a diploma, but they were all in the wrong stuff.
Imagine that.
Yeah, it's like, you know, once I got to high school, I focused on the shop classes. I lived in those.
Oh, yeah.
All the other ones, well, apparently you actually need those.
Yeah, apparently you need English and math and...
So I was flunking out of Harvard, transferred to Clinton, where my dad lived, and I did all 4 years. So freshman, sophomore, junior, senior, at a new school, all 4 years of English, math, science, history.
In 2 years?
In 1 year, my senior year.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Talk about busting your ass all of a sudden, you know?
I don't even remember it.
Oh, I'm sure not. I'm sure you didn't have time to do much of anything.
I didn't do any
study and do tests and.
Yeah, I didn't do any sports or anything like that. And yeah,
well, looks like it worked out for the best.
It really did. I mean, that's where I kind of, you know, I avoided talking about the conversation of like, well, what are you going to do after high school? You know?
Yeah, I don't.
And
there's a lot of people that don't know that, you know.
Yeah, well, and I never like thought about it, and then I remember towards the end of the year that the people that I graduated with, you know, the one saying, oh, you know, I'm going to Madison, or I'm going to, you know, NIU or whatever, SIU. You know,
I'm going to college. Yeah. Good for you.
You know, Jared, what are you doing? I'm like, I have no clue. And
pretty good with my hands.
Yeah, and like that's all I had going for me. You know, is like I'm blue collar. You know, that's what I'm gonna be.
Yep, that's the way I was too.
Yeah, and so one random day, so I graduated high school, which was a massive surprise. Yes, congratulations. Like,
winning.
Yeah. After I graduated, I don't know. I think I just like hung out for like 2 months. Like I really didn't do it. And then I woke up one morning, and I remember I was sitting on the kitchen counter, and I called my mom, and I was like, "Hey, Mom, do you want to have another airman in the family?" And she's over the phone, but she's like, "What? Are you serious?" I was like, "Yeah, because it was like that was the first mature decision I ever made in my life, because I had nothing going for me, and like I was on a downward spiral of either I got to do something,
or I'm gonna go nuts.
I'm gonna end up in jail, because all we were doing was just partying, like
Yeah.
A lot of the people, they were the ones that were going to college and stuff. They kind of had their ducks in a row, but like me,
Maybe their parents forced them to have their ducks in a row.
they had the guidance. Me, no, just figure it out. And so my mind was, I'm gonna join the military, and it's probably the best thing I ever did for myself.
Well, I mean, the military's got a lot of pros and cons. I've never been, so from the outside looking in, they do offer guidance.
Yeah,
They're going to teach you what you need to do, how you need to do it their way, and if you don't like it, too bad. That's just the way it is.
Yeah.
But it keeps your head on straight.
For the most part.
I mean, I'm sure there's always time to F off and, relax and do stuff like that. But, at the end of the day, they're still going to make sure that you're showing up.
Yeah.
Doing what you need to do.
Yeah. I mean, as long as you get all different types of people that join the military. You get the ones that are gung ho, like that's all they ever wanted to do.
Yep.
The ones like me, they had nothing else really going for them. So, well, let's try this route. The ones that go to college, and they're the ones that usually become the officers. But yeah, I was definitely in the group of let's work hard, and then let's party hard.
Yeah.
And that's what we did.
There's good and bad at that too.
Oh yeah, very some interesting stories.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure. So, you joined the Air Force, and what'd you become? Did you become a pilot?
Dude, the Air Force actually doesn't have nearly as many pilots as people think.
I was just being an asshole.
But like all the time, like people will ask me or whatever. I'm like, oh, I was in the Air Force, and oh, so you flew? No. I don't want anything to do with something that goes through the air. I don't want that responsibility.
You don't want a $40 million plane that's yours?
40 million?
I mean, I'm just starting. Maybe for like an F-14.
Yeah, up that number a little. But no, I went in vehicle maintenance.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah.
That makes
yeah.
a ton of
So I went in vehicle maintenance, and then we have our shred outs, which are you have your material handling equipments, the forklifts, the ATs, the machines that we use to load the aircrafts, 60K loaders.
Oh, cool.
Snow equipment, which is
yeah, you got to have that for the bases and then clear the runways.
And then you have the guys that they specialize in the fire trucks. We had a body shop. I think there was talks of bringing body shop back, and then you had general, which is what I was, and that was literally Silverados, Fords, F-150s, 250s.
Whatever they had, you need to fix.
Whatever the lowest bidder that they got for that year, that's
that makes sense.
Impalas and all that stuff, cop cars, ambulances.
Man, you got awesome training then, because you're there on the base getting it done then.
I was fortunate. I had some of the best mechanics that kind of brought me up and through. Showed me a lot of really cool stuff, and still stuff to this day that I use,
Nice.
on a daily basis. So I did that for about the first 3 years, and then I got a niche, right? Niche.
Yeah.
Niche. I got a niche for armor.
Okay.
So I branched off and I specialized in armored maintenance.
Like armored cars and
So
Humvees,
the different armor packages that they come with, tier 1, 2, 3, which is basically how much can the thing get the shit beat out of it.
and keep driving.
Yeah. And then the Bearcats, which are it's a Ford F550 with a shortened chassis. They came out in 2010, so it had the 6.4 in it.
Better than the 6.0.
Yes. Well, yes, better than the 6.0, but they had their own problems.
Yeah.
And
well, they realized the 6.0 wasn't working, and then we need to throw another engine together and throw it out there for our consumers, you know.
So it's basically it's an F550 6.4 in it, and it's a shortened chassis.
Okay.
And on top of it is a Lenco armored body. So it basically it looks like a bank truck, but
okay, it's a good view.
What do you know about working on Fords engines?
Yeah.
What's the best thing to do?
Pull a cab.
Not when they're welded to the frame.
So you probably had a torch.
No, so these bodies, those armored bodies on them, they were probably, I'm gonna ballpark it, 8,000 pounds.
I can believe that.
So you weren't lifting these bodies off. So these things got delivered, and they're like, well, guys, figure it out. So, you know, it was me and 4 or 5 other guys on my base that we just had to figure shit out. So
that's kind of fun, though.
It is. I mean, once we got going, I mean, we were turning and burning. There was no Bearcat that came in there that, you know,
you didn't know about. You didn't know how to fix it. You didn't know how to weld it.
I knew to get those up pipes to the turbos, you needed a 1/4-inch ratchet, like a 4-inch extension, and an 8 mil socket, like a shallow socket, and you could get just between the firewall, just sneak that
the tube.
Yep, just enough to get in. Well, and they have 2 coming up because they're compound turbos.
That's right. I forgot about that.
Yeah. So you have 2 up pipes coming up, and then you have the compound turbos. Well, taking turbos off of those things, normally lift a cab on a normal, you know, Super Duty. You do it enough, you can get it down into like an hour or 2 to lift a cab on those. I mean, it's the procedures are super simple because they're designed for that. But when you
have that frame,
when you can't remove that body, it's we would have to like split the compound turbos and take them out like piece by piece. Normally people would take them out as a whole assembly, but we had to figure out like how to split it. And
if there's a will, there's a way.
Yeah. Well, and then the best part about it is, so they're armored, so they don't need to meet EPA standards, which all government vehicles that are ass haulers, like your pickups and stuff like that, they have to meet EPA standards. So they have to pass emissions tests and all that shit. And it doesn't matter where you are. Like, I was in North Dakota, so they, just like here, there's no EPA standards.
No.
But because it's a government vehicle with government tags, it had to pass emissions. It sucked. But these were armored, so they didn't have to meet the requirements. And as soon as we got any regen codes on them, we would yank that out. We would straight pipe that, and then we
program it and move on.
Well, we had gotten a contract with, I don't know if it's a contract or we just bought a whole bunch in bulk from H&S Tuners. And so here we are, active duty guys. We're all gearheads. You know, it's usually why 90% of us are vehicle maintenance. And they're giving us a 6.4, and then they're giving us these H&S Tuners to delete the regen system.
It's time to have some fun, boys.
Well, they had stock, they had economy, they had performance, and then they had one that it was called a hot damn tune.
Yeah, like a race tune.
Yeah, and
give her hell.
Dude, these things weighed, with the chassis and the body, I mean, they were probably upwards of like 12,000 pounds, and they would blow the tires off.
Our tax-paying dollars at its best use.
Yeah. I mean, they were really loud. They had a lot of bottom-end torque, but you didn't want to be going over 55 in those things.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Oh, man.
They get a little tipsy.
They were so bad, and the death wobble was just as bad in those.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, the good old death wobble.
But yeah, that was kind of my progression through like mechanics in the military. You know, a couple of deployments under my belt. That was good and bad. Some of the greatest experiences of my life and some of the worst.
Oh, I'm sure.
But all in all, like in the 13 years that I did, I don't regret a single time of it.
Well, I can probably say it. I know for me, but we really appreciate your service, and what you did, just because veterans like you keep us safe. And hey, I'm able to do a podcast, because we're able to have the freedom to do what we need to do, So thank you.
No, you're welcome. I always tell people it's just another job that I wore camouflage to. That was it.
That's cool. That's a cool way to look at it.
We would come in. I had vehicles. I had work orders. I had vehicles that had to be done and troubleshot and fix. And it was very much the Air Force. The other branches, transportation and the other branches. I really don't know. I have a little bit of experience with like the Navy and the Army. From deployments, but I mean the Air Force side of it, we were just mechanics, man. Like fix the shit, get it out,
Yep.
Long hours, but at the end of the day,
kept your head straight.
Yeah, for the most part, yeah.
For the most part, every job that you work hard at or long hours, you're still gonna sneak away,
Oh, yeah. You got to have your sanity and your fun.
Oh yeah, you can't just work 24/7.
No, they try to. They try to.
Oh, I bet.
Yeah.
And there's some people that can. I'm not one of them.
No, I need my sleep.
I didn't mind getting up at 6 o'clock and working until midnight or something. But the older I get, it's like, there's probably something else that can be done that I don't have to work that hard that often,
Yeah, that's kind of been my focus in the last year is making my own schedule.
Yeah,
because finally,
now you've started your own business.
Yeah, couple of months or not couple. Shit, it's been 9 months already. I think.
Time flies.
Yeah, I know. I left my job that I'd been at for 5 years. Just changed. It wasn't for me anymore. I really wasn't doing anything, for anyone. I was fixing vehicles. So I ended up leaving and decided, you know what? I'm gonna get my LLC. So I went through got my LLC and everything, and
BS to go through that.
Make it legit, and got my reseller's license, so I
Yep.
can, get the discounted parts and everything, and that's what I've been doing ever since, starting from the ground up.
That's a job.
Your brother did it,
Yeah.
and I know, and he's still doing that, right?
Oh, absolutely.
See, when I was driving over here, I was like, shit. I didn't even think about messaging him or being like, "Hey, man,
He's an eighth of a mile up the road.
Is he really?
Yep.
Is that where his shop has always been?
Yep.
That same shop, right?
Well, when he was out of high school, he did a lot of mechanic work at the home farm out of that little garage that was there. And then, he was working miscellaneous jobs, going to school. And once he got done with school, he said, screw it. I'm just going to build a shop. I'm going to do it myself, and it's done.
Yeah.
So he did that.
That's where I'm at right now.
You got a shop built?
No, I'm contemplating. We're trying. Me and my wife, we're trying to figure out really what we want, where we want to be. Right now, our kind of long-term goal is to buy property somewhere,
Mm-hmm.
and
It's a good goal.
And then put a shop on it, and kind of focus on that for a couple of years. Try to make the land self-sufficient. Where I'm working on projects or vehicles or whatever, where the land's paying for itself, and then eventually we'll probably build a house on it.
So where are you at now? Are you out of your own garage or
Yeah, I'm working from home. Yeah.
pros and cons?
It's the biggest con is I'll tell people my address, and then they pull up into a residential area, and I was like, yeah, I'm working out of my garage right now.
Right now.
But
right now.
it's
time.
I'm doing my own thing. When I'm slow, because starting your own business, the beginning, it's a hit or miss.
Well, in your situation, you got to find the customers.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, you're going to have friends and family.
A lot of it's
relatives
word of mouth.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But to have that steady car coming every week, every third day, every second day, now it's like, oh, well, I got 3 cars this week, but I got nothing next week.
Mm-hmm.
So
so
do,
my overhead is next to nothing.
That's a good thing.
Yeah. So my labor rate doesn't have to be what the surrounding shops are, and so I'm able to kind of save the customer there.
A man for the people. That's you.
Yeah.
Be your slogan.
Yeah. But I mean, like when I'm not busy, I drive I drive for ride shares on the side. Yeah, Lyft and Uber. Yeah.
Why not?
Dude,
I hear it pays well.
It's okay. I mean, you gotta kind of be a go-getter, and you gotta figure out the algorithm, because I mean they do come out with like ride challenges and stuff like that to keep you out on the road. But
you pay that a little extra when you're doing that kind of stuff.
Yeah, you do 55 rides, we'll send you $100, and that that's on that's on top of
whatever you made on the 55 rides.
It's just a bonus, So I mean, it's honestly, to commit full time to doing that, it's a lot of wear and tear on the vehicle.
Oh, yeah.
But miles have never scared me, because I do all my own maintenance. There's a lot of rideshare drivers out there that they're taking their vehicles to the shops and stuff to get fixed. I mean, they're doing brake jobs every 3 months, 4 months, tires,
exactly.
oil changes every month. I mean, in a week I'll put 1,000 miles on it, on my car.
But you know your car. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know how to fix it.
Yeah.
You know how it drives.
So I have that upper hand on it. I just I know how expensive it is to take your vehicle to a shop.
Yeah.
And then to, on top of that, paying for fuel and everything. So, but it's honestly, you meet a lot of interesting people and everything. And I'm social. I'm to a certain limit. Like, I kind of get to my limit. I'm like, okay, I think I'm done for the day. Because you're having the same conversation with 15 strangers.
Oh yeah. I mean, about
same thing. Yeah, and a lot of them, like, I keep my business card with me, because a lot of times I'll pick them up and the first thing they'll say is like, yeah, car's in the shop or whatever, and I'm like, oh really? Like, here's my business card, and they're like, oh, that's awesome, and out of the 10 business cards you give out, you'll get maybe one person that'll call you.
But you know what? Business cards are cheap.
Yeah.
Because that one.
I've already paid for my business cards, and I got
absolutely.
Yeah. So.
When I was in sales, it was the same way.
Mm-hmm.
You hand out 30 business cards, you sell 2 things, but you know what?
Yeah, you paid for them.
And now your name's out there.
Yeah.
To 30 different people, even though only 2 called. 30 people got that card, so they know. Hey. Back in my mind, I can always call that guy.
Yeah. Yeah, and I'll randomly, I'll get like a text message, or hey, this is so and so, blah blah blah. I'm like, oh, I don't remember talking to you. Like, what did you drive? So I'm having to start the conversation. What year? Year, make, model. Package. What are you looking for and stuff like that. But yeah, it's probably one of the best marketing old school ways is, driving,
Oh, yeah.
Oh, you have car problems? Here you go. Here's a business card.
Yep, absolutely.
But, I mean, that's not my long-term, that's not my long-term goal. I really, I've been trying to focus on really, like, where do I want to be in, like, 10, 15, 20 years? What do I want to be doing with Torque Automotive? And my long-term plan is I want to be building cars. I don't want to be fixing them.
Ooh.
And from my time in the military, I've met so many different styles and everything, and I've learned to love them all. I mean, when it comes to,
you're talking like classic cars,
anything.
Or
so like what I was exposed to in being vehicle maintenance. All of us are gearheads, but we're all from different parts of the country. You know,
Yeah, right.
So you got the guys down south. You know, they got the donks. You know, the 27-inch wheels, 26-inch wheels. You know, on their Caprices, and then you got the guys. You know, up here. You know, I want a big ass truck. You know, and all that stuff. The hot rods, the imports, all that stuff. I've learned to like appreciate all of those different styles.
Yeah, they all got different aspects on why they're awesome.
Yeah.
You know.
Because I know what it takes to build some of those, and so like really I'm looking at like the person, I'm looking at the car, but I'm like, man, this guy did a lot of work to this thing, you know, like passion, you know, and you got to respect that, and that's what I want is to be able to build my own cars, and you know, or have people reach out that, hey, I got this.
I got an old Cutlass Supreme out back.
Don't bring up the G bodies, man. I love G bodies. That whole platform is it's underrated.
I think they're pretty cool looking.
Oh, they are. I mean, because I have an '86 Money that I have.
Same thing. I mean, yeah, same type of body style.
Well, so those are
cool.
Yeah, those are all G bodies. There's so much out there for them. Like. You could build that car from the ground up out of a magazine. The only issue you'll have is finding a VIN tag to put on it, you know?
Yeah.
But, yeah, it's, I want to be able to 4 cars a year, just build badass cars and, you know, get my name out there.
Mm-hmm. That'd be cool.
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
I'd say like 15 to 20 years, I'll be satisfied with myself and my progression if I make it into a magazine. You know, that's kind of my goal. I don't care about, you know, the money that comes and goes or whatever, because it's expensive. But
yeah, building old classic cars is not cheap.
No.
At all.
No.
But they're cool. They're cool as hell.
Yeah.
Same thing with like the old trucks.
Yeah.
You know, like me, I'm a square body.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'd love to find me like a 79 Chev or a
Okay,
82 GMC or something, you know.
Now, are you a short bed or a long bed?
Nah, it's got to be a long bed.
See,
I appreciate the short beds.
I'm partial. The short beds are hard to find. I didn't even know. I had a 78 K10, 4-wheel drive, had 350, turbo 350 trans.
I know where there's 3 of them sitting in 3 different places within 10 miles from here.
How are the bodies?
They look from the road, they look pretty all right.
Huh. Might want to go investigate. Yeah, because the short beds are hard to find.
Because they're all K10s. 2 of them are for sure short beds. The third one might be a long. But either way, yeah, I mean, from the road they look fine. Hell, the one moves in the driveway from like here to here, to here, to here.
So that's someone's project.
Or, I mean, hasn't moved this winter.
Yeah.
I mean, they parked it in one spot, and that's where it's been sitting since probably October.
I've been wanting to build a street truck for so long. 2-wheel drive. I don't know if you remember my yellow truck. You were already graduated at that point.
Probably.
It was I had a 72 C10 2-wheel drive. It was basic hot rodded out. It was 350, had an intake, headers on it, you know, flow
I
masters.
don't remember that one.
I love that truck. Like that thing, it was 2-wheel drive. You know, around here everyone's got 4-wheel drives and, you know, the big mud tires, and here I come screaming down the road. A lowered 2-wheel drive.
I had a buddy of mine I think it was a 72 too, C10. They're cool little trucks.
They're beautiful. I love the body lines on them. You
Yeah,
know, that's
they're pretty awesome looking, and I still think he's got it today. You know, and that was, well, shit, I graduated in 06.
What's his name?
I'll tell you after the fact.
I think I know what you're talking about.
It might be. He was in my grade.
Skinny guy?
Yeah, it was black.
Yeah. He was actually over at my old house years ago when I had my 55 Cadillac.
Really?
Yeah.
He's got a 72 C10.
Yeah, he randomly stopped by. Okay, blonde.
Yep. Well, yeah.
Blonde, scrawny. Yep. Okay. Yeah.
Same guy.
All right. Yeah, that guy. Yeah. I forgot. He had. I had posted something on Facebook or whatever. I had a 55 Cadillac, bone stock, just neglected and gross. But that thing was so awesome. Like, it was so, I'm pretty sure it was a city vehicle in like 55. Because like it was a 4-door. It was not a like expensive Cadillac. Like if it was a 2-door non-post, which there's no post on the the door. If it was that, it would have been like
beauty.
Oh my God, that like those go for so much money now. But mine was just a clapped out, beat up. Like it had gotten smacked in the right front fender. Dude, that thing had like 3 inches of Bondo. It was so bad. But that thing went down the road and that thing would do 60 miles an hour, just float. I mean, I go over railroad tracks and I'm still jouncing, like 3 miles down the road. But yeah, he randomly hit me up and he's like, "Oh, I want to come check it out." I'm like, "All right, yeah." Like, I hadn't seen him,
Come on over.
Yeah, I hadn't seen him since high school. I was like, yeah, of course, dude. Like, this is why I like cars, the camaraderie that it brings,
Absolutely. And all those old style, whether it's cars, trucks, just classics in general, there's a lot of people that just love them.
Yeah.
So you can meet all aspects of life
Yep.
just talking about cars and trucks, whether they were made in 55 or 72 or 2018,
Yeah. I would get asked all the time. I'd be driving that car. I was 28, I think 28 at the time, and I'd be driving a 55 Cadillac, and I'd be at a stoplight or whatever, and people are like, "Oh, Grandpa let you take the truck or the car out?" And they're like, "No, it's mine."
Appreciate it.
Yeah,
Check
thanks.
her out.
Yeah, dude, I would go to car shows with that thing. So this thing was untouched, bone stock, ugly. Like raccoons had gotten in and like tore up they didn't tear up the upholstery. They went from underneath and like ripped all the cushion out and stuff. But I would go to a car show. Like I had taken it to where Smoking Coop is in Belvedere, Hammer Time.
Oh, yeah.
That smokehouse. So that every Wednesday during the summer they have a drive-in. There's no registration. You just pull in and you park. And
check her out,
boys. It's actually
she's right there.
Yeah. So I pull this thing in and didn't think anything of it. Well, I parked next to it. This car had to have been. It was an old 30s coupe. It probably had to have been $100,000 restoration. And everyone would walk right past that coupe to come look at my ugly ass Cadillac.
Sorry, bud.
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah, I don't know. They draw their own attention. Just
They do.
Like it's a blast from the past. Like literally, you would expect to like open up like the trunk and see like petrified fruit. Just still from like when great grandma ran to the grocery store and she forgot that orange bag in the trunk of it. But
So you said you have a Camaro now?
Monte Carlo.
Monte Carlo.
Yeah.
How's that coming along?
It's a work in progress. It was actually I stumbled upon it. It was my older sister. It was a friend of hers. It was her husband's car in high school, and he had passed away a couple of years ago now. And I didn't know him. I knew my sister's friend just from growing up with
right.
my sister. My mom she had posted it on Facebook like, "Hey, I'm looking to see what this thing is worth, or like is it worth getting fixed or whatever." And my mom had sent me a message. She's like, "Hey, she's looking to get this fixed or whatever." And I was like, "Okay," and so I met up with her, and I don't bullshit. Like I'm just gonna like
Tell you how it is.
yeah. I mean, it's like, listen, like this thing it's beyond gone. I mean, like for what it is, sentimental value and everything. I understand, But I was just blunt, you know, and she's like, well, maybe I'll just junk it. I'm like, well, no, don't do that, you know. I'm more than capable of doing all this stuff. You know, it's going to be years.
And money.
Yeah. Well, and so we came out under the arrangement that I would take the car and I would restore it, and I mean it's going to be years and years. It's pretty bad. I mean, it's floorboards are gone. You know, the trunk is gone, the frame. I actually I was working on the frame a while ago. I still got some work left to do on it, quite a bit, but I mean, it's the body's off. It's the frame's in my garage, you know, and it's body off restoration. But I told her, it's like, listen, I'll take the car, I'll restore it, you know, it'll be on my dime, you know, I'll do it for myself. For when I enjoy it, it's good for me. And then when the time comes, when you're older, or when your son's older, you know, because he left behind a young boy. Yeah. So I told her, I was like, you know, when the time comes, you know, you guys want to take it out for a weekend? He, like, you know, he's older and he wants to, you know, take it to prom or whatever. By all means, you know.
Come on over.
Yeah, because I would hate to. Yeah, I would hate to. Shit, I'll deliver it. You know, enjoy it. Just, you know, it'll be
be safe.
It'll be a modern muscle car. You know, it'll look like an '80s car, but it's getting, you know, 21st century technology going into it.
Cool.
Yeah, so
cool.
Yeah, my goal is to basically be able to get in, turn key, and drive across the country without a problem.
No
you know,
questions asked. Well, a guy like you can do it.
Yeah, it's just, yeah, the money. There's a lot, yeah, a lot of money and time. And, you know, and I work on it when I want, you know. And,
that's the nice thing about it.
I get out there and, you know, I got some time to do something, or I'm just, you know, having a rough day and I got to go out there and bang some metal or whatever. And so
grind some metal or paint something or.
Yeah, so that's, I didn't want to see that car just get thrown into a junkyard, you know. Because that's, I mean, they just grind it up. Yeah.
Yep.
So
just
it's like, you know what, let's take this and, you know, let's bring it back. I'm going to have to put so much more money in it than it'll be worth. But it's for my own sanity, you know.
Yeah. And if you enjoy doing it, it's not really work.
No. Yeah. I mean, and my sanity is worth more than, you know, what I would put in this car.
The money you're going to throw at it.
So.
Yeah. I get it. That's why, like, since I've been looking for a K20 lately, and just for that fact, bring it here, throw it in the garage. Hey, if I got a chance to work on it, I'll work on it. If I don't want to work on it today, sit in the garage. It's comfortable.
Yeah. Is that barn out back? Is that gravel or? Yeah.
I don't have a heated shop here or anything like that. I was actually thinking about turning that 2-car garage and insulating it and putting a small heater in it, and
dude,
keeping it in heat in the wintertime.
I run mine is insulated and drywalled and everything. It's finished, but I got a 3-car, and I just keep a salamander heater out there. I'll blast that thing for like 15 minutes. Like, I was in there the other day working on a car, and I blasted that thing for like 15 minutes, and I was out there working in a hoodie, and it was like 15.
Not bad.
It was like 15 degrees out, and I was in a hoodie, you know.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, that's something to think about. I always thought about getting like an LP heater out there, you know, like a 60,000 BTU or 30,000. I haven't done any homework on it at all.
I think mine's like a 55 BTU. It's nothing special. I mean,
don't need to be.
They're cheapos that you can buy anywhere.
And once you get it insulated and drywalled,
good luck finding kerosene anymore. At least where I'm at.
Shimong.
Well, yeah, that's a 25-minute drive for me.
Come on out anytime.
Goddamn, I was when I first got it, you know, because you could run diesel in those, but like they're not as
clean.
I haven't had a problem with that, really. I mean, the smell or anything.
How old's your heater?
Oh, I don't know. I got it used.
No, well, like we had one at the farm, and if you put diesel in it, you could totally tell the difference between that and kerosene.
I mean, maybe. I haven't been able to find any kerosene. I walked into the gas station. I was like, "Hey, do you guys know like anywhere that sells kerosene?" And they're like, "What?" Like,
What's kerosene?
Kerosene? What the hell? How do you not know what kerosene is? Like, oh, it's because I live here, you know?
Yeah, no kidding. Get out of this 20-mile radius and you'll figure it out.
Yeah, but
that's funny.
Yeah,
that's too funny. Interesting.
Yeah, it's so bad over there. Not bad. Actually, I love where I live.
Have you guys, I know you said you and the wife are thinking about figuring out where you want to be. Have you put any thought into that? Still want to be in Illinois?
I mean, honestly,
Kentucky,
so like her
California?
Well, so her career, you know, mine is I can go anywhere.
Yeah.
Anywhere I go, there's going to be a vehicle I can work on. You know, so that's
Absolutely.
never been a big problem of mine. I mean, family's here and stuff like that, and so is hers. You know, they're from Milwaukee, Madison area.
So yeah, within an hour.
Yeah, but yeah, we're like right in the middle where we live. You know, from the Harvard family and everything. But yeah, I mean, we all the time we'll just be talking, and I really don't care. I don't give a shit because like she's the only person that I've ever been able to be with, and it can just be us. It's weird. Like people are like, oh, that'll fade. I was like, I've tried. Like, you know, I haven't.
She won't leave me alone.
No, it's like I've tried to annoy her, and she's such a better person than me. Like she's like, you're just being stupid. Like, you know. But
exactly. Quit being an ass. Grow up.
Like how her career is. I mean, we'll probably eventually. The best move for us would be probably LA. For what she does. But she's also been working from home since before it was cool to work from home. You know, she started off as a freelancer for design and everything, and now she has her own design agency.
No kidding.
And I mean, she's busy. I know she's working right now. I thought about like that should be my podcast name. Like if I come out with one, like I should be working. Like that should be the.
That is perfect.
I'm procrastinating. Yeah, because we're like,
a good one.
Like, oh, I don't know, should we do like fully torqued? I'm like, nah, that's kind of like douchey.
I should be working.
I should be working. Yeah.
Because everybody would listen to it for the simple fact it was, I should be working, but
yeah,
I'm watching this instead.
Yeah, but no, like so probably like the best move would be a busy area, you know, like the major cities and stuff like that in the country. But
or just outside or whatever.
Yeah, and so she can work from anywhere. I mean, for what she does, she has clients all over the world.
Good for her.
Yeah, I mean, it's something that, you know, she's been doing it for about 10, 12 years now, and it wasn't until we started dating that I kind of saw it and was like, damn, there's a lot of potential in this. So I was like, you need to focus on that, you know?
So she's in interior design?
No, so
clothes design?
Man, it's her. It's no, I know. It's hilarious. Like, so like size 10 font, her title is like this long. She's like a multidisciplinary, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, you do a lot of shit and you're really good at it. So I'm like,
I have my funny bone.
let me. So I'm just trying to find like, okay, those binoculars right there.
Yeah.
One thing that I always use the example of is her career or like degree, product marketing, I think is the one of the degrees. Is basically those binoculars, you see those in the store, and there's another pair right next to it. What grabbed your attention to buy that pair? So as in like how the package is laid out, the colors, you know, what naturally draws your eye and everything. That's one of hers. But I mean, she also, we have a really close friend of ours now in Colorado. She was an Olympic boxer
That's cool.
And so she, a couple of years ago, reached out to her on the site that she uses, that she was wanting to basically start her own gym. And so both of them, talked and worked together and everything, and she built like her website and kind of her brand and stuff like that, like the logos and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. She's done just a ton of stuff. I can't even like specify, because it's like, you ask me, I'm like, I'm a mechanic. I turn wrenches and I bust knuckles.
I fix stuff.
Yeah, if it's broke, I fix it. Her, it's just like, it's
good for her.
It's endless.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So really, yeah, she's been working from home since before it was cool.
Well, she can probably do it like everything right here.
Oh, she does everything. She does everything on her computer.
Email and scan and send it all out to whatever customer may need what, and go from there.
She actually worked with a client that I won't name drop. She worked with a client, though, that just had a special come out on Apple TV. Yeah. With, I'll tell you that later. Yeah, I'm not going to name drop.
No.
But it's the degree of stuff that she's doing is, it's cool to see. Me, I look at it, I'm like, well, I'm just a mechanic. You're like working with these like big corporations and stuff like that. So.
And it sounds like maybe individuals, big time individuals.
That was definitely the biggest one.
But still, that's, good for her. Because that's how it's going to start.
Yeah.
That one person is going to show this specific design or whatever that she did, and somebody else is going to say, hey, I want something a little different but similar or whatever, and contact her, and then...
Yeah, she's gotten a few clients that, I was given your email by so-and-so and whatever, but yeah, it's interesting. Yeah, we're looking at furthered education right now and stuff like that, so we're trying to figure all that out. But
there's never an end if you don't want it to be.
I know. Yeah, and there's me, I'm like, no, I'm good. Like
I'm a mechanic.
I'm a mechanic. Yeah, like I can weld stuff and glue metal together, and I'm good. I'm happy, and
that takes your mind off everything.
Yeah, me keeping her, motivated and focused and everything. That's probably like the biggest thing for her, is the support, behind her.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You got to be able to support your other half to make sure they're not going insane either.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. The things that we talk about. I've never had any like conversations like this with anyone. I thought I did, but I didn't. And not like now that I'm like, well, shit, I haven't even told you I'm completely sober.
Good for you.
Yeah, it sucks.
No, it can't be that bad.
No, it's hard or whatever. It's God. Wow, we just like completely like turned down that lane.
You did.
I know I did.
To be blunt.
Yeah, I know I did.
That's okay.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't until I sobered up that I really like started to realize like, like in-depth conversations. Those are nice. And
they're pretty cool.
Yeah, and I've never really had that in my life until I met her and everything. So, yeah, it was.
Well, good for you, man. Yeah. I'm happy for you. That's exciting.
I always tell people it's just because I want to be really bored 24/7. Like, hey, you want a beer? I was like, yeah, you got a near beer? That's why I came with Red Bull. I always come prepared. I was like, I'll bring my own. Like, I thought about it. I was like, should I grab some zeros on the way here?
I got Sprite, Coke, and RC, and all sorts of other stuff in there. So, yeah, I'm a Royal Cola guy.
It's all right.
I think it's better than Coke. I don't think it's right up there with Pepsi.
Wait, you're a Pepsi guy over Coke?
I'm an RC guy over both.
Yeah, but you're Pepsi over Coca-Cola?
Yeah.
Oh, man. Okay. Well,
see, we're gonna have to agree to disagree.
Yeah,
on this.
we'll just leave that there.
Now, you ask certain people, and I think they put cocaine still in Coca-Cola at McDonald's, because I know somebody that literally drove to McDonald's to get a Diet Coke.
Oh,
and
no.
sat in line for 20 minutes just to get their Diet Coke.
The Diet Coke there is totally different than the Diet Coke you get out of like a can, a case that you buy.
That's what I have here.
Because we primarily drink like Diet Coke. I mean, we're actually trying to back off of it. Just
water.
Yeah.
And Red Bull.
Sugar free though.
Hey, there you
Only
go.
because I can't drink the straight shit anymore. It fucks me up. But
I had a Monster last week and a half ago. Whatever. We got snow.
a green one.
Yeah.
Oh.
And we were out there, and I was like, tired. I need something, So I've had it before, and like that much out of it, and I was like, okay, that's enough.
Was it? Oh, so was it twist top one?
Yeah, it was.
Do you remember? Do they still have them the BFCs? Do you remember those?
Yes.
I think it literally stood for big fucking can.
I think so.
Yeah, they were like, they had to have been 24 ounces.
I don't even know what this was. I was just tired. I walked in. I'm like, give me another ounce.
When I was in high school, I worked for Public Works as a summer hire. I worked.
For patching roads.
Yeah, I mean, it was actually, dude, it was pretty decent wage for like I think a sophomore. I was making pretty good money, for what it was, and that went its own path. But I would every morning. I can't believe I'm still alive to this day. Really, every morning I would have a BFC. That's 24 ounces. I'm pretty sure, and then a bag of donuts. That was my diet, like during the summer, and that ruined Monster for me. Like I'll drink the white Monsters, the zeros or whatever, but only the white one. All the other ones are just.
Yeah, I don't drink energy drinks that often, but when I do, I need it. I need a kick in my ass to keep me going, and sometimes it just has to happen.
Coffee.
I mean, I've tried coffee and different types of coffee, and Folgers, what's in your cup, Maxwell, good down to the last drop. Tried it all, and I just could not get on board.
It's not until I have at least that first cup that I can talk to humans today. I can handle reality.
Well, I'm lucky enough that in my job now, I don't have to talk to a whole lot of people.
What are you doing
anymore? I work for the local township. So there's me, and then there's the guy that I work side by side with, the boss man, and the administrative assistant. And then on the other side of the building, that's where you have the auditor, and I actually work next to Jody 3 days a week.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. By the way, she says hi, and she loves you.
Oh, did you tell her we were doing this? She never mentioned that you worked with you guys.
Yeah, she's.
I mean, I just never put two and two together, I guess.
Yeah, she's right down the hall.
So you guys are right on the corner there in that little building.
Yeah.
I grew up right there.
No.
Yeah, 8th Street.
Yeah.
Yeah, the house I grew up in is literally right down the road.
So I'm in the 5 big doors. She's in the nice part of the building. Yeah. So I told her, I was like, hey, episode, whatever this is going to be, 6, I think, 5, whatever. And I'm like, you might want to listen in on that.
I don't know if they want.
You're going to notice that guy.
I don't know if they want to. This is like,
It'll be fine.
Yeah, I'm not too worried about it.
No, she's good. I like her. I used to, when I farmed the moose ground, and moose was owned all that and stuff.
Yeah.
She was working for Sam.
Yeah.
And that's when I met her. So that's been, whatever, 8, 9, 10 years ago already.
Yeah, because Sam now works at the township, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, he's I just had it. It's gone now. Whatever. Not supervisor, but whatever. Anyway, but yeah, she works for Sam there too. So
yeah, we've been out there a few times shooting and stuff like that. And it's a pretty decent, pistol range that they got there.
Oh yeah, for Sam, it's plenty for him.
Yeah. I mean, I brought out my 308. Man. Yeah.
Probably
Yeah.
A little too cramped.
It'd be a fun, 223 range or whatever, but yeah, my 308, it's like
it's a little excessive.
Yeah, I was blowing holes through the steel. I wasn't plinking. Yeah.
No plinky plink?
No, just straight through. Yeah.
Yeah,
that was
some hot rounds then.
That was actually the first time my wife met my dad.
No kidding.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I think so. I think we were just talking about it a while ago, but I totally forgot that. I was like, really? I didn't know that.
That's cool. It's funny how that works.
Welcome to the family. We're gonna go throw a bunch of rounds downrange.
It's a fun way to get to know somebody.
Yeah. Well, and she's polar opposite
than you.
Yeah. Like she grew up not city girl. Like she grew up in like Waukesha, so like outside of Milwaukee, kind of like a Schaumburg or Chicago or whatever.
Right.
I just bringing up memories. Like the first time we went out to the ranch, my mom's ranch. She's got 2 horses out there. She's gonna hate me for saying this, but I got to now. We go out there and we get out and Copper, the big horse, he gives a typical neigh, like, hey, what's up, and she looks at me and she's like, was that a real neigh? And this was like when we first started dating, and I was like, what
do you mean?
Like the horse? Like, yeah, that's the noise it makes. She's like, I never heard one before. What are you talking about? Yeah, you have. She's like, well, I don't know, but
that's funny.
It's polar opposite,
That's all right.
Yeah.
They say opposites attract.
I believe that fully, for who I am and for who she is. Yeah, definitely.
Well, that's good. I'm glad things are going well. Well, we probably should wrap this up. We've already been talking for over an hour.
Oh, really?
It's crazy how fast it goes.
Well, shit, when we go 6-7 years without seeing each other.
It's been a while.
Yeah.
Well, hey, you get your podcast started. You call me.
Oh,
I'll come over.
I'll need help with figuring gear out and everything. So.
I'll give you the best that I can do with what information that I have.
I'm in the same boat. So.
We'll figure it out. Not a biggie. Thanks for coming, Jared.
Yeah, of course.